Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I need primo gems for Odette after pulling for snezhnaya, so today we'll be exploring the Frost Moon. Take note that this was filmed near the start of the version, so by the time 7.0 is released, I'll have many more pulls saved up. I'll be yapping a ton, so you can turn this on in the background or explore along with me. Anyways, let's get into it. It took me a second to get used to all the new mechanics with the jump floating and HoYoLab energy, but in the end, I found it really cool. This moon pearl launcher came up so many times while exploring that it became one of my favorite things. I didn't realize there'd be so many lunoculi in the Frost Moon either, but I guess I should have expected it, because my Notcry exploration is maxed, but the statue wasn't. Anyway, as I move on to fight these new enemies, I wanted to talk about this new area. I was so happy when it was announced and the moon went above and beyond my expectations. I love everything about it, the scenery, the plants, the creatures, the puzzles. It clearly all had so much thought put into it. Once again, I have to applaud genshin devs for releasing a beautiful area. I also absolutely adored the story quest that came with it. I won't give any spoilers in this video, but for those who have done it, I hope you know what I mean when I say that this became one of my favorites, right along with Masquerade of the Guilty and Shadows Amidst Snowstorms. I love it when genshin devs outdo themselves in every aspect of the game, including its lore. Moving on, here we have a teleport waypoint in this underground area, and let me say that these waypoints look really cool. It does feel kind of odd that all the futuristic or electronic elements in the game are said to be ancient dragon technology and all that, but I guess there'd be no other way to explain it. I won't be getting to the dark side of the moon in this video, but there's so much of that dragon tech there as well that made me feel kind of spooked, but in a good way. I love dystopian and sci-fi themes, so just the entire map made me so intrigued. These puzzles with the moon pearls also sometimes made me so confused that once or twice I had to pull up a YouTube tutorial because I could not figure it out. Here's another one of those moon pearl launchers I showed earlier. It's so silly that we can be thrown up and that we can throw pearls up as well. Snezhnaya looks so silly in there. I feel like if this is part of the story, she would hate randomly floating like this. Let me talk a bit about the new reactions. Since Fontaine, all the new characters have had some sort of region-locked skill set with the Pneumosia, Night Soul, and now the Lunar and Stellar reactions. Nobody really uses Pneumosia outside of exploration, I'm pretty sure, but the other ones have been interesting to play. I think I prefer the original character kits though when they didn't have these things, because then it didn't seem so locked behind a wish wall, but I couldn't help pulling for snezhnaya regardless. Usually I don't pull for characters if I don't like their playstyles, which is why I don't have Skara or Linny, for example, even if I like the characters, but snezhnaya was a little bit different. For one thing, she has always been my favorite Pretty Harbinger. For another, I do think it's important for me to build my account with stronger characters, because technically I have reached endgame at AR 60, and I need to clear Kabis and Imaginarium somehow. This isn't a pretty common occurrence for me though. I also like how Genshin is incorporating older characters with these new reactions, however, giving them buffs and making them usable again. I built Chi-Chi during 6.7, and though I didn't record it, the new buffs have given me an excuse to build older characters. With so many of them benched, I'm looking at you, Xiao. It's nice to see so many characters become stronger. That being said, it did take a while to get used to snezhnaya's kit, but as of editing this video, she has done a lot more damage with her best team, because I have improved her build since my last video just a little bit, a few talents and artifacts here and there, so yeah, it's nice to see that effort paying off. Speaking of best teams, the whole point of exploring was to save up for snezhnaya. I'm still debating whether or not to make Odette have two builds, one with DPS and one with support for snezhnaya, or just sticking to DPS. She may still need Miko and Chi-Chi to increase stellar contact reactions, if that's what I'll be running her with, but I also want to build Misaki with Stellar Swirl, so I'm considering having two builds for her. This would be easier if we could just save builds for characters instead of swapping artifacts all the time, but I guess that's just what must be done. But back on topic, if you guys have any suggestions for my future Odette, comment down below. Depending on when this video comes out, she may already be out, but if not, let's look forward to her release together. I think this area was released at such an amazing time because just a few months ago was the Artemis 2 missions, which I was also really happy to see, and within a year or so, Artemis 3 should also be happening, assuming nothing has changed. There have been some really cool discoveries and missions in Astral Marine lately that this region releasing in Genshin was just perfect. Anyway, who are you all hoping to pull in snezhnaya? I mentioned in my previous video that I'll be pulling for Tsaritsa as well as Odette, obviously, and Vodyanica and Mitya, but what I didn't talk about were the characters outside of the Archon quest. You know, like Veressa, Natlin, and Linnea, and Outcry. There are sure to be many like that for snezhnaya as well, so I'm really excited to see who will get released in that way. It's insane that snezhnaya is already right around the corner because we've been waiting for it for so long. I remember in one of my previous exploration videos a year ago, I had no idea about Nodcry yet because it was so out of the blue. I was fully expecting snezhnaya to be the next region after Natlin, but I think it's a good thing that Nodcry was released first. There have been so much lore drops and amazing Archon quest in this region. I love Genshin's lore if that wasn't already made clear, so it was great to see all of that being part of the game. Here on the Frost Moon, which is of course very lore heavy, have been a few areas which I didn't record that were directly related to some of the content about the Three Moons and Nodcry, and it was kind of nostalgic to say the least. It's going to be really interesting to experience snezhnaya's story, if there's anything left after snezhnaya in the Fatui, because it may focus even more on the Abyss and stuff, making it a lot more like ancient lore heavy than region lore heavy, if you know what I mean. But we'll see what happens. I'm honestly really looking forward to any of it. And just look at the Frost Moon scenery from up here. It looks absolutely marvelous. Another topic I've been recently thinking about is how Genshin's character models have improved over the years. If we compare 1.0 characters with 7.0 characters, there have been so many changes in the way Genshin devs have built the characters. A big one is the Tsaritsa's fur coat. The detail is much more prominent than the detail on Kaya or Yelin's coats, for example. That's a pretty popular one I've heard. I think this improvement is a great thing because it shows how much time is put into designing characters, and how much that design has improved over the years. There are a few things that do look kind of unexpected, such as Odette dancing with heels on rather than point shoes. But I think that's okay because that would be really awkward to walk in day to day. Speaking of Odette, her character teaser was so beautiful. It showed how Rosaline was a big part of Odette's life, I think as her mentor, and it seems that her death was painful for Odette. I wonder what would happen if the Traveler told her that we had fought Senora and Inazuma. If she doesn't know already, that conversation would definitely be interesting. Also, I think that it would be interesting to hear Odette meet with Lynette, since they're both part of the Fatui and they're both very elegant. Not to mention their names are similar, of course. Since Odette has been announced, I have been thinking that Lynette would probably be good friends with her. Hopefully, I think that would be an interesting conversation as well. But seriously, this region is going to be so hype. I myself am of East Slavic origin, so I'm curious as to what kind of Easter eggs and things are going to be part of snezhnaya, especially translating the names of NPCs and cities and things. If comparing to how some Fontaine NPCs have pretty silly names, it's going to be really funny. Off topic, this luxurious chest was really nice to open. And then I moved on to the next part of the Frost Moon. This Kuhenki mechanic was one of the first things that they showed us, and it was really satisfying. It came up a lot throughout the entire exploration of this area as well. I think this region must have been Frost Moon area with the most chests. I wasn't expecting to see so much orange on the Frost Moon either, because typically celestial objects, at least in most of what I've seen, are seen with more purples and dark blues. But the variety is always nice to see. Admittedly, it would have been pretty boring if they were all the same colors of the Frost Moon. The part of the main quest in this area was pretty hard though, but at least we get more ancient dragon tech stuff. I didn't record that part because I didn't want to make this video too long, but it was a good quest. Okay, for this next topic of conversation, I have a small Not Cry Archon Quest spoiler warning. Skip to the time on the screen if you don't want to be spoiled. The area on the Frost Moon where we get to visit Traveler's spaceship is definitely my favorite. It's so peaceful and gives us a piece of Genshin sci-fi story aspects, which I've always loved. I love how much more of it has improved as well, since Snatlin even. The scene here with Columbina was my favorite part of the story because of how peaceful it was, and I don't know, I was just really happy with that. So when it was announced that we were coming back to the moon and then it would become playable, I was really excited. Which part of the moon was your favorite? Alright, spoilers aside, while I didn't record all of the exploration of the moon, it was really nice to see those percents go up. Here I'll slowly be wrapping up the video, and I have just over 1,000 primos as of recording. Once again though, by the time my snezhnaya video rolls around, I will have a lot more pulls saved up. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone. I hope you didn't mind my yapping. I don't think I'll be able to properly express how much I love this region, but if you feel the same way, make sure to let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed, please click the like and subscribe buttons, and I'll see you all in next time with my snezhnaya video. I love you all so much. Bye bye, everyone!